This is it. It's finally here, the DAP modular shift knob. And the truth is, for a product that seems so simple, it took us a long time to get here. At the end of the day, a shift knob is just a ball you grab onto to change gears. Because there are so many knob options out there, my idea was to come up with something truly unique or different. We selected a simple classic design, a super sturdy mounting adapter, and interchangeability of each component, allowing you to customize the knob to your liking with over 250 possible variants at launch. But getting to this point, where we have the product in our hands, was a much bigger challenge than we anticipated. The initial idea was to make a weighted shift knob to pair with our very popular 6-speed short shifter. The idea I came up with was a modular design that allowed you, the end user, to interchange components very easily at home. Making this modular design means the top coin and the ball portion that you grab would be interchangeable with different styles, colors, or sizes. You can buy 2, 3, or even 4 balls to figure out what kind of balls really feel right for you. There are 2 problems I have with some aftermarket shift knobs. Number 1, they use set screws to attach them, which often come loose. Number 2, they're made out of metal, which means during the summer it gets scalding hot, like you've squeezed a hot pocket into your palm, and in the winter, they get cold, so you gotta wear your little mittens to drive. To deal with the hot and cold issues, we decided to start with a Delrin ball. Delrin is a composite material that will not get too hot in the summer or too cold in the winter, meaning you no longer have to worry about your little piggies. My idea was to take some design cues from the Mark 7 GTI and R knobs that cut through at the base. To make our knob modular, the first idea I had was to put tiny screws all around the coin, and we could include a tiny little baby Allen wrench to remove them. I knew people would mostly strip these and lose our baby Allen wrench in their garage, so we scrapped that idea. Next, I thought we could design a special tool that would allow you to twist and lock into the knob, but like the Allen wrench idea, you would lose it, so that was also out. Finally, Curtis, who works here, asked me, what about a magnet? The initial plan was to make the shifter coin and base from steel and have a bolt run through the magnet ball and shifter base. The biggest issue with this design was the coin can spin around, making your shift pattern eventually upside down. During this entire process, we were using our 3D printer for rapid prototyping, so every new design was 3D printed to test. The next version, we added locators on the coin so it wouldn't spin around. During this process, we also opened up the ball because we were looking to accommodate for magnets that didn't require being custom made. This version allowed the coin to wiggle inside of the knob, which would be super annoying if you drove your car every time the thing was rocking all over the place. So we added tri-locators on the ball and coin to try to avoid this. We also put our logo in a coin and tested both 55 and 60 millimeter balls to see if they were great sizes for everybody's hands. And you see, for context, this is the 55 mil, this is the 60 mil. And after testing both of them, I can tell you I really love the way the 60 mil knob feels. When I set out doing this, I wanted to make a heavyweight shift knob. But when we got to this point, I realized that this knob was going to be one of the heaviest knobs out there on the market. And when launching a new product, I didn't want to have something that was so heavy that would massively limit the interest of the end user. This is an easy fix if we change the metal parts of the knob from steel to aluminum. But now we have a new problem, because aluminum isn't magnetic. We then had to design a steel washer, solving our magnetic problem. For the adapter that attached to the car, we essentially have had the same design the entire time. Here is our design from the summer of 2022, and here is our design 2 years later. Mostly the same with minor tweaks that have happened during the design process. Once we got to this point, I felt like we were ready to install it in the car to test our knob. So we took our 3D printed design, attempted to install it in a car, and found out that because the cut-through design, it made the shift knob super high in the car. Now we could put out this product and say, hey, if you want a lower shift knob, you gotta cut the shaft down on your shifter. But I don't roll like that, so we are back to the drawing board. Our plan with the new design was to keep some of the cutaway style, but allow the shifter shaft to go up into the knob. Now, instead of the knob being many inches above the stock knob height, it could go inches below the stock knob height. Now, after all this testing, we had a product in our hands that was fully functional, but it wasn't perfect. So there were improvements made to the base design to make it much more aesthetically pleasing, and the ever popular golf ball dimples added to our ball design. And this was labeled by Steve, who helped us in the design of this product, as hopefully our final revision. Guess what? It wasn't. Now is the time to take our 3D prints and turn them into a real product. During the process of getting something manufactured, you have to set tolerances of all the components. If your manufacturing tolerance is off on a component, it could mean that it's too tight and doesn't fit together, or it could mean that it's loose and wiggles around. With the Delrin ball and the coin, we needed really tight tolerances to make sure that when you place the coin into the ball, it didn't wiggle around. Unfortunately, what I found out during this process is that wasn't possible with Delrin, which made me a real sad boy. That is because during the machining process, things get hot, and while machining Delrin, that heat makes it nearly impossible to keep extremely tight tolerances. So now our design had to be changed again. So we opened up the ball and designed a steel washer that would allow us to lock the coin into the steel washer and keep our tight tolerances. At this point, I also threw an audible to Steve and decided that I was gonna add a trim ring over top of the adapter to cover where the shift boot attaches. Also, while taking into account different thicknesses of boots, so aftermarket boots could be used. The last hurdle was the Delrin finish. The machining process leaves Delrin with a very shiny finish and also creates machine lines. Some of you at home might be okay with that, but I did not like that finish. So we did a lot of testing internally with different medias and different vibratory and blasting and all kinds of things, and came up with a finish that I personally love. So when you order our shifter, it comes packaged just like this. Here's our adapter to go to Volkswagen and Audi cars, our base, our ball, the washer, the magnet, the coin of your choosing, and the hardware. To assemble it, we take our base, put our ball on top. Take our washer here, take your 2 long screws, drop them in. Then you can tighten them down with the included Allen wrench. Take your coin, flip it over, put the magnet over the hole, snug it up. Then you take your coin and we're ready to snap it in, watch your fingies. Now we can go into our car. Here's our OEM shift knob and we're gonna take it off. Take your factory boot, flip it inside out. We're gonna put our zip tie right on top like this. Then we take our adapter, stick it in like this. Get your boot all the way to the bottom and then tighten your zippy and it's done. Then we take our knob and thread it on. Then we take our adapter, slide it down in your shaft. You get your orientation of your knob correct. Take your Allen key, and tighten it down, and we're installed. We're so happy to finally have this product available for you to purchase, and the plans for the future are things like carbon fiber balls, upholstered balls, or even steel heavyweight balls. We have created a single product page where you can look at any combination of this. That means you can select your base, then your ball, then your coin to see the specific knob type that you want to make. And as we add new coin and ball variants, you can either purchase them separately or they'll be available on this product page as well. If you have a good idea for a coin design, ball design, variant that you want to see, make sure you leave it in the comment below. And big thank you to Steve, obviously, who stuck with me for 2.5 years while we developed this and is still my friend. And thank you to anybody who supports us by purchasing this shift knob or any other product from us.